Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40K, the Tyranids channel. Now in today's video I want to talk about all the defense mechanisms that are available to the Tyranids index. Now I'm not talking about all the abilities because there are some that come from some of the smaller units as well, but I want to talk about the major ones that come from the index. So let's actually just begin with the Hive Tyrant, because I think that's one of the best units, one of the best characters we've got in my opinion. Some of you prefer the Swarm Lord, but I prefer the Hive Tyrant. And one of the abilities is Will of the High Might. So you can effectively, once per turn, a Tyranid unit within 12 inches gets to use a stratagem for 0 command points, even though another unit has been targeted by that stratagem in that same phase. So that's going to be good for a number of things. I mean, there are some defensive stratagems. In fact, we'll probably go over the defensive stratagems later in this video, but just bear in mind this is going to be free, and every single turn you can be doing this. So I think that's going to be one of our major defenses that we've got. Now, in fact, the Tyranids Army Rule is a defense within itself with Synapse. When you've got units within Synapse range, within 6 inches, or sometimes that is increased with certain auras and abilities, you're more likely to pass Battle Shock because you're doing it on 3 dice rather than 2. And of course, Battle Shock, it lowers the, it basically debuffs a unit, whether it's the stratagems, that could be a defense mechanism there. Objective control, not really so much of a defense mechanism, but also the being able to fall back without doing a desperate escape thing, that's also going to help with our defenses. So yeah, Synapse I definitely would put as a second one from this video. The next one is the Neurotyrant, which is one of the new models from the 10th edition release, from the launch. Synaptic Relay, the psychic ability. This just simply adds to the range of our Synapse. So you're selecting 2 Tyranid units within 12 inches of your Neurotyrant, and they're always considered to be within Synapse range, so even if they move off and go off, far away onto the other side of the battlefield, in fact, because they were selected in the command phase, they're still within Synapse range, which is pretty cool. And again, that's going to come back to that whole Battle Shock thing and all that kind of jazz, so it all kind of relates and comes full circle there. The Neurogaunts, which was another release, they've also got the Synapse keyword, so again, this relates to Battle Shock, so I'm kind of doing a bit of a repetitive thing here, but these extend your Synapse, not your Battle Shock, these extend your Synapse because they have Synapse, only when they're within Synapse range. So you've got the 6 inch from your Synapse creature, and then these guys are virtually going to provide you with another 6 inches from the unit. So you're getting the size of the unit, so you could be 2 inches away from each model in the unit, so that's going to be within in unit coherency, and then you could of course extend with the actual Synapse keyword 6 inches. So you're going to get a lot more than 6 inches there from the Neurocytes, from the Neurogaunts with the Neurocytes. Going more defensive now, coming away from the leadership and the Battle Shock and all that, you've got the Venomthropes. Now the Venomthropes have got the Foul Spores Aura ability, so of course that's going to be units within 6 inches have the benefits of cover, and Tyranid units that are not monsters also have the Stealth ability, so effectively are -1 to hit them. But yeah, that's going to be working on all your little gaunts, it could be working on, even your monsters are going to have the benefits of cover, which I think is pretty good. Some of them are very tanky, and they need, you need the high weapons, the high damage, the high strength even, just to get them to lose wounds. Sticking with some thropes, we've got the Zoanthropes now with the Warp Field Aura, which is a psychic ability. So Tyranid units within 6 have a 6+ invulnerable save. That's going to be working on all sorts of different units. Again, the little gaunts, when you've got a unit of 30 of them with a 6+ invuln save, that's pretty decent. And also the monsters, if you've got a monster with X amount of wounds and there's a high damage weapon, let's just say it does, 8 damage for example, you've got a small chance of actually succeeding with this 6+ invuln save. It's not the best thing, I think it's better on the smaller stuff, but it does also work on the big stuff. On to another of the new ones, which is the Psychophage. Am I pronouncing that right? Psychophage? I think I am. So they got the Biostimulus, while a Tyranid unit's within 6 inches, they get the 6+ Feel No Pain save. So again, that could work with the Gaunts, very similar to the invulnerable save that we just mentioned from the Zoanthropes. But this one's also going to be pretty useful definitely useful for the monsters as well. Let's say you've taken, a Locust Heavy Destroyer shoots your Horospex and it's doing 6 damage. You're rolling 6 dice, and the likelihood is one of those on average will be a 6. So it's basically going to be like a -1 to damage in that particular situation. But you could get lucky, you could roll say 3 6s and take 3 damage away. And that's going to be while friendly units within 6 inches, so it's an aura, so anything surrounding that model is going to get it. Now bear in mind, if you've got, like for example, this unit and you've also got the Venomthropes and you've also got the Zoanthropes, all these things are going to start to stack. You're going to have the 6+ feel no pain save, you're going to have the 6+ invulnerable save, you're going to have the -1 to the hits, and if they're not monsters, stealth as well. So it starts to stack, and it starts to get kind of crazy when you do it that way. But that's the way I would do it. I start to stack these. Another one, which is another new model, in fact, is the Barbgaunts. Now, I quite like the Barbgaunts. I know they got a lot of hate when they were released from the preview. They looked quite underwhelming, but I think they're a very tricksy unit. With their disruption bombardment ability in the shooting phase, you've only got to hit an infantry model, and I think they've got D6 attacks per model, and you've got a unit of, is it 5 or 6? I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm going to check. You've got unit composition is between 5 and 10, so min unit of 5. 5 times D6 in terms of shots, and they've got the blast keyword as well, so you're definitely going to score a hit. In fact, you can split fire these guys and target 5 completely different units, and the likelihood is you'll probably get a hit on all 5 of those units. And once you do hit them with these biocannons, until the end of your opponent's next turn, the enemy unit is disrupted, and while they're disrupted, it's a -2 to their movement or advanced moves, and also -2 to their charge move. So if it is a charging unit, the likelihood is you've just taken away 4 of their overall movement, because they're going to move by 2, or advance by 2, depending on what they're doing, and then the charge move is going to be -2 as well. Now, some factions can advance and still charge. Orcs, I think they can do it. There's going to be lots of different ways and stratagems that can allow for that. So a -4 overall, but even if they don't advance, it's still a movement thing, isn't it? So -2 to that movement, -2 to the charge roll, I think is mega effective, especially now that there isn't no -2 to going through terrain features and stuff. There isn't a -2 anymore like there was in 9th edition. So I quite like them as a defense mechanism that way. You've also got the Biovores with the seed spore mines. Of course, they'd be bringing back those little spore mines. And done in your shooting phase, if you just simply, in fact, you don't even have to attack anymore. Instead of making attacks, you just add a new spore mines unit. Anywhere in the battlefield that's within 48 inches of your Biovore, but more than 9 inches away from enemy models, and you've got 1 spore mine, which that's going to be defensive because you can block areas, you can block key locations, you can put it on an objective that your opponent's about to get to perhaps. You can block potential charge moves for your opponent's next turn. Maybe they're lining up a charge in a little valley or something. If you stick these things in the way, then they're going to have to go around them, or they're going to have to take the damage. So that's going to be mortal wounds on the damage front, and that's going to be nasty. That's going to be nasty. And that's just coming from one single Biovore, isn't it? So if you've got multiple Biovore units, do it multiple times. As for some stratagems, we did mention from the Will of the Hive Mind earlier on with the Hive Tyrant, you can use stratagems, well, you can use a stratagem per turn for free, and these are some that you could potentially use. Rapid Regeneration is the first one. It would be 1 command point, but with Will of the Hive Mind it could be free, even if you've already used it as well. And in your opponent's shooting or fight phase, you effectively give your unit a 6+ feel no pain save, and if they're within Synapse, they're going to get a 5+ feel no pain save. That's mega effective, especially on anything really, but monsters in particular. Imagine having a 5+ feel no pain save on, I don't know, a Tyranid, for example. That's just mega effective, and it could potentially be completely free every turn. You've also got the Endless Swarm stratagem, which is for your Gaunts, Endless Multitude units, so your Termagants and your Hormagaunts. I always get that the wrong way around, you'll have to bear with me on that one. But for 1 CP, potentially 0 CP, Endless Swarm, you can effectively get D3 plus 3 destroy units back, or destroy models back, in your command phase. And again, that could be completely free. That's an average of 5 Gaunts coming back. And if you've got the Turbagon there as well, she'll be bringing more back as well with her ability. I think she does it twice as well, so it's quite good, that one. And again, it could be completely free. If you are getting more Gaunts back, of course that's going to mean more models for us, I suppose. More models. It could potentially get you onto an objective. Now, of course, we're talking defensive here. We're not talking scoring points. But, of course, the more models you got, the more of a threat we are, right? Then I want to talk about the 4 enhancements that are available to the Tyranids with the characters. Now, there's 4. All 4 of them are pretty defensive, to be fair. Alien Cunning. After deployment, you can effectively redeploy 3 Tyranid units, and you could even put them in strategic reserves. So you could put everything, or put 3 of these models, really scary ones, on the left flank. Your opponent counter deploys, and then you throw them completely into a different flank on the right side, and your opponent is like, I've actually, deployed in this way for this very reason, and you've just changed it all. So that could be really good. Or to stick them in strategic reserves, messes with your opponent's head. Maybe it keeps them alive for a few turns because they're not on the battlefield. Then they can come in and do whatever they want to do. So that one is very cunning, I suppose. Perfectly Adapted is another one that's more defensive. I mean, yes, it is offensive as well because you get to reroll a hit roll, a wound roll, a damage roll, and an advance and charge roll. But there's also the saving throw in there as well. So I just wanted to add that one in there. If you fail a saving throw on your Hive Tyrant and you've got this, once per turn you can say, nah, I'm going to re-roll that. So it could be pretty cool. The other two, Synaptic Linchpin, just to increase the range of your Synapse within 9 inches rather than 6 inches. Again, that relates to Battle Shock and Leadership and all that jazz, and stratagems in particular. And the final one, Adaptive Biology. This is my personal favourite one. You're giving the bearer a 5+ feel no pain save. And if they've lost just one single wound from their profile, it goes down to a 4+. Now, a 4+ feel no pain save this edition is madness. Now, it's probably one of the best things you can get alongside an invuln save. So imagine you've got a 4+ invulnerable save, then a 4+ feel no pain save. You grab the Venomthropes for the -1. It's not a -1 to hit, that's the stealth part, that's the non-monster part. It's the getting cover, so it'll be a +1 to your armor save as well. But if they weren't a monster, it'll be a -1 to hit them. There's just lots of different things that you could stack. And yeah, I think Tyranids have got a lot of defense mechanisms going off for them. Not quite as good as my Necrons. They have some mega defense in terms of reanimation protocols. But this is Tyranids, and I quite like what we can do. But yeah, guys, if I've missed any, you just need to let me know down in the comments below so that I can get them on the list. And yeah, there is a likelihood that I have missed one or two, but let me know down in the comments below. But guys, remember to like and subscribe on your exits. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.